Hello everyone, I'm Jeanette Camping from Henry Stewart Events, and I'm delighted to welcome you to our latest webinar, Connect Your DAM Content to Figma, Sketch and WordPress and Never Lose Control, sponsored by CI Hub. It's great to see so many DAM professionals joining us today. We'll be having Q&A at the end of the presentation, so please send in your questions on your GoToWebinar panel. And we are recording today's webinar, and you'll all be sent a link to view again later. Now it's my great pleasure to welcome today's speakers, Andreas Michalski and Gerd Glaser from CI Hub. Thank you both for joining us, and Andreas, over to you.
Hello, thank you, Janet. It's nice to be here. It's nice to have our, I think, third webinar this year with Henry Stewart. It's always a pleasure having such a perfect organization for us to present CI Hub. Hello to everybody. Today we would like to talk about the benefits of using the CI Hub connector and using the seamless integration through your DAM system within Figma, Sketch, and WordPress. These are three new integrations we have, and this is, I think, we can bring a couple of new ideas into everybody's work, life, with your assets and your DAM systems. Click. Gerd, thank you. Okay, so the CI Hub connector is all about having one plugin and have a unified access to whatever you need to deliver your work in a very efficient and actually fun way to do so. So the CI Hub connector is, click. The CI Hub connector is the way you can connect to your assets from the application you are using in your daily work. In the moment, we do support the CI Hub connector for all of the Adobe world, InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, Premiere Pro, InCopy, the Office environment, the Google environment, Figma, Sketch, and now WordPress and SharePoint. We do believe that building a connector that is universally available helps the user and the creative a lot, getting his work done in a lot more efficient and faster way. You do not have to switch between different web browsers, and we all know that if you're working, especially if you're working in an agency and you have 3 different customers, you have 3.5 different sources where you have your assets to compile your work. And imagine you have 10 customers, it's 30 different systems you need to deal with on a daily basis. I think with the CI Hub connector, we found a way that makes your life a lot easier. All of these plugins, and you will see that in the live demo part of the presentation today, the interface is very intuitive to learn, and it's consistent across all of the different programs we are supporting. That makes it really efficient. Click. With the CI Hub connector, we are not just already supporting all of these different applications, we're already supporting more than 60 different data sources. And a data source can be a cloud storage system like a Dropbox, a Google Drive, but it can also be a professional DAM system, or it can be a service that is available like a rights management functionality across all of the connections you are using. And the benefit is you can have as many connections to as many different systems at the same time. And we learn from the many feedback we get from users that this is matching the work reality in a very efficient way. So you have one plugin, you have one profile that you define, and you connect to wherever your data is in the ever-growing universe of cloud storage systems, services, workflow systems, and all of that stuff. Click. So with the ability of connecting to the data sources, the possibilities are really unlimited. And our goal is to not just connect you to your data sources like a PIM or a DAM, but also, and in our last webinar, we did a nice presentation on that one, also connect you to your work process systems, like an Asana system or an Adobe Workfront, or many others, which we will support in the future. And this really makes your work a lot easier because you have your work tool, like in InDesign or in Photoshop. You have your work asset, your images or your templates, and you have your work order, the job ticket from your workflow system, right within the application. You do not have to search anymore for all of that stuff. It's just there. And the combination of all of that is something where we believe that you as a user really benefit from that combination of functionalities in one plugin, because this makes your work life a lot easier. And we have a wonderful example today to present to you. Click. So you see, all of these different systems are combined within the CI Hub connector and are unifiedly presented to the user within the plugin wherever you are. Something like a portable job basket where everything is in what you need for your work, regardless of where you travel with it. Click. So today we would like to focus on Sketch and Figma. We do see that there is a high demand in the market for supporting these applications for designing, and these are wonderful applications with a very powerful API that we as developer can use to enhance their capabilities. And we would like to show you our WordPress integration, and you will see a very neat set of features that makes your life synchronizing your assets a lot easier. Click. So with that said, I would love to hand over to Gerd. Gerd is the real expert on how successful customers work with our tool. And Gerd, I would love to hand over and give you the opportunity to show the live view on everything to our audience. Gerd, hello.
Thank you very much. Hi to all. So I'm starting with this slide, which should illustrate the growing numbers of touch points during a project or a campaign, and also the growing number of produced assets that are stored in the various systems for further use. And by digital assets, I don't just mean images. There are templates, designs, graphics, icons, videos, audios, animations, text, and so on. So the digital asset supply chain is becoming more complex. And that's the reason why we built the CI Hub connector, because he combines all of this in a single, easy to use interface with really great features. And I will explain some of them later in the live demo. So at the end, everything is within the application. If it's work management, you can see your tasks. If it's a digital asset storage, DAM, cloud storage, or whatever, and the produced assets. So you have a complete overview and complete access to all the systems, all the assets, all the content. And last but not least, you have a full control over all placed assets, all placed items in your project, if it's in Figma or in Sketch, or if it's in WordPress, what comes later on. So you get a full control over all these placed items. I will switch over to a short live demo to these applications. So I think it is working. Andy, can you see my Figma screen?
Yes, we can, Gerd.
Okay. So As you can see, I'm in Figma here, and simple Figma documents, and I've started the CI Hub connector, which you can see here. I've created some connections to various systems, and I will try to place some images. First thing I want to do is just place an image onto the canvas, so nothing special in it. The only thing what is special is that Figma requires low resolution files. They don't go over a resolution from, I think it is 4,000 pixels per horizontal or vertical formats. And in this case, we are able to use the feature that's called the renditions. And so we can reduce the high-res files coming out of a DAM system or a cloud storage system to 1024, 1024 pixels. And we can place the assets directly onto the canvas. Nothing is selected, so just drag and drop, and we can place these assets and scale them whatever we want to do. I can place assets with a fill feature out of the CI Hub connector. That means if I select target frame and I click the Add as Fill feature, which you can see here, that means the asset will be stored into the target frame as a fill. And the other stuff, which is really interesting with the renditions, if you work with Illustrator files and you don't want to download them, convert them to a PNG or whatever, you can also place native Illustrator files. I've selected a rendition here, JPEG 1024. You can just use them, so the native Illustrator file can be placed. And the same goes for Photoshop files, for example, which has some layers in it. So this one has 130 megabytes as an original, as a rendition. I can place it perfect into the Figma layout. Other features we have is the replace all feature. So if you want to place, let's say, these placeholder for the logo, this is on various pages. You can check this one. If I want to have it transparent, I can select a PNG rendition, which makes the file transparent. And I can say, okay, replace all of them. So it replaces this file and it'll be replaced on all the pages that I currently have. And another feature is to see if you have placed components like assets or icons or something like this, and you haven't used them as components. Maybe you have a design and you place some images more than once, and it's not a component. How do I get the latest version of these instances? So the replacement is working perfectly, as I showed before, but how to check the components if they are valid and if they are approved or not outdated, so just to get the latest version. In this case, we have the check panel over here, and I can check all the assets that have been placed in this project. And if I select this one, you see if I jump over here, it selects automatically the image in the check panel. And I can see that this image is used on several places. And I can see all the versions that have been created. And currently I'm using this version, but the latest version is this one. So all I have to do is select this one and click the Relink button and say, okay, I want a rendition, click on OK. And as you can see, the file is updated on every place it has been used. So this one here and this one. So I don't need to check each image on every page, just do the relink stuff and it works perfect. The other thing is I have a complete overview of assets. This one here is a rendition, and it has been selected a very old version. I can replace this one also. And as you can see, there are more than one assets placed in here. This is the same file name, but it has selected a different version. This is the second version that had been used, but I can't see that file. So in this case, I have the deep link over here. And if I click on it, you see that this is a hidden area, and this is a vertical scroll. So it searches for images that are hidden or clipped or somewhere not visible in the layout, but you can find them over here and use the check panel, and you can also relink them even if they are not visible in the layout, but they will be visible in the preview later on. Another feature in the check panel is this little icon over here that shows that there are some different file names available, but this is through the use of rendition. If I place a Photoshop file and I place a rendition, it'll have a different file name because the extension is different. This one is a JPEG, and the original file is a PSD file. So this is just a warning to keep you updated that the file name is a bit different. So quite easy to place all the assets. The same stuff is working with color styles. So you can use the panel to fill color styles in here. If I take this image and place it over here, you will see, oh, this is a high res. No, not yet. So as you can see, they are automatically replacing all the assets that have been built with this color style. So it corresponds to all the styles that are currently in use. And if I take this image and place it over here, you will see that the gray area will also swap into the selected image. Here we go. Another cool feature is if you want to look for similar images, you can do that. Just select an image, go to this little icon here, which says similarity search, and you can search in Getty for similar images. This is quite similar, this one here, but you can see it finds all the images, and I can also check the rendition. I want to use a low resolution file, and I can replace that one directly from Getty into Figma. And of course, if I go to the check panel again and do a check, you can see that some images are from Getty, some images are from a Celum dam, some images are from a Workfront solution. This is this one here. And yeah, it's quite easy to handle and to get a full overview of all the assets that have been used. The same works with character styles. So if you are using images for character styles and color styles combined, it's also working. And another cool feature is the usage of the metadata. So if I am placing some products over here, I'm going to switch to my products and check the rendition that's currently used. So it's also working in here. You can just place the images, and if you work with components, it's all doable. And if you work with text, it goes like this. You having the metadata available over here, just move them to the stage, and you can add the content of your metadata in here. Let's say this is the color and this is the item number. So as you can see, you can create your layouts in a perfect way without having the hassle to download stuff, import stuff, switch windows, go to the PIM, copy your text and paste it in here. It's quite easy to handle. So that's all about Figma. At the end, the Sketch version is completely the same stuff, except that there's a floating window. It's not combined in Sketch environment. In the Figma environment, this is a floating window, but you have exactly the same features, the same user interface, the same rendition feature that you can place images directly onto the stage, onto the canvas, or you can select frames and add as fill. So it's completely the same stuff you can do over here in Sketch, what I showed you in Figma. So let's have a look. This is the design part, and when it comes to building the website, we're using WordPress. So I would like to show you how it works in WordPress. So just opening a post over here, and let's say we want to add an image from a DAM system or a cloud storage system. I call the media library, and the CI Hub connector will come up. And as you can see, it's the same interface. You can switch between source systems. You can have several connections available. You can browse through folders. And you have all the asset features that we have seen. So if I use an asset over here, just select a rendition for this one, click on OK. Click on select, and the image is placed in WordPress. So not only placed, it is connected to your source system. And this, I think it was Box as far as I can see. So let's place an image from Unsplash, which is really easy. Just switch to another connection. You can also do a full text search. Let's check this one. Here we go. Let's check the renditions that they are using, because they can differ. So this is a 1920, and here we have a 640. So I can use that one if I want to, and it'll be rendered in the resolution. Select it, and you can place it. The same works in WordPress for Photoshop files. It's the same stuff. Just select a rendition. Going back to my Box application, go into this folder, grab an image, grab a Photoshop file. This is the Photoshop file with 130 megabytes. Check the renditions. Okay, fine. And it's placed. The same goes with native Illustrator files, and the same works with if you have files in the media library only stored. You can use them and check them against the panel if they are available or not. So let's save this draft and have a look at the check panel. Get this little icon here. So you can see that I have placed 3 assets. This is an inventory of the post I was just working in. So you can see that if you check the assets that are available, This one is the little yellow icon, which will differ because of the file name. This is the JPEG and the original was the Photoshop file, but everything is available. And yeah, you see all informations. This is the one I've placed from Unsplash. You can see the post ID. So if I do a inventory of my assets, I can click to the post ID and it'll open the post directly where this asset is stored. And I have the path to the media library. So a click on that will lead me directly to the media library. If I do it in that way, it'll will open directly with all the informations. So everything perfectly stored in here. Another feature is if you go to pages, let's do a version check over here. This is an image that was placed a few days ago, and I want to check if it's available or if there is another version. Just calling that, go to the check panel, click on check, and you see the warning comes up. There is a newer file available. Going to the details, this one is with a little aircraft and this one is without the aircraft. So I'll select this one, click on Relink. So that's successfully relinked. And if I do a reload by emptying the cache, voila, this is the latest version. So there is no need to do that stuff manually, download a new version, upload it again into the media library and then have a look at it and check it. It's all just one click away. So
and imagine you have a website with 30, 40 different images and graphic elements and all of that stuff. You push a button and you know exactly what is outdated or what is not, or where the rights have expired, yeah, or where is the new version. It's just one click away. It's really simple.
exactly, yeah. And another cool feature is that you can use with shortcode the metadata content, which will be made available via the CI Hub. As you can see here, this is the post ID. Just type in the post ID and the text will come up, which is stored in the metadata fields of these assets. That can be custom metadata fields as well. So just use the post ID of the asset. So if I change this one, I can just change the complete content by changing just the number here, going back to, let's say, 305, the other post ID. It'll change the text completely. Very helpful if you're working with copyrights and you should place copyrights into the image. You can do that with the shortcode feature, and CI Hub delivers all the content of the metadata fields, and you can throw them into your page. This is really cool, really helpful, and very dynamic, of course. So let's go back to the dashboard. What we can do also is not only check the images which are used in a post or in a page, you can also check the content of your media library. So it's quite easy if you use the bulk select, and let's say we check only the woman with a head, the rest is okay for me, and you click on add new to get a chance to call the CI Hub connector. You will see that you will check the availability and the versioning of only these 3 assets that I've just selected. These ones. And if I do a check, that's how it goes. This is just a warning symbol. but I can also go back and say, okay, I would like to select all my assets in the complete media library and check them all in the iHub regarding availability, the version, and so on. It's also doable. It will now list all the assets that have been placed into the media library, and they are still connected to the source system where they came from originally. So this is really cool because, yeah, any update or any a new version or release or something like that will be handled via the check panel. So you have always the latest version in your system, and it's really working perfect. And of course, if you are in other systems, you have the chance to upload, add files, or to relink files with this button if necessary. So yeah, all the options that you have in Figma, you have all those options also in WordPress. So that's all for the moment in the live demo. Are there any questions, Andreas, in the meantime, or should we proceed?
My suggestion is we should proceed. I have a couple of questions already. Everybody else who has a question, please feel free to fill it into the question area right now. I would say as soon as we are done with the live demo and have the last slides, we definitely go into all of these questions and discuss that.
Okay. So I'm switching back to the presentation. So what you've seen at the end is really a consistent asset supply chain when it comes to different departments. So you have the web design and the CMS editors, what we've seen now in the live demo with Figma, Sketch, and with WordPress. And they all have to access at some point some systems that has to be done by the people themselves, because the people are using those applications and they have to access systems. And this is the other area. So we have the system area, could be a cloud storage, a DAM system, work management, or image provider. And each of them are coming up with different interfaces. So the people have to learn the interface, check the interface, know how to work with them, download assets, upload assets, move them around. And yeah, that's not the way it should work, because every download is all against the single source of truth principle. So if that starts, images are scattered all around, and that doesn't work at the end if you want to have a consistent output. So we said, why not having the people stick to their application, because this is what they are working in, this is what they know perfectly, and this is what they love at the end, and connect within their application via the CI Hub to the various system, having one interface. Don't need to leave my Figma if I'm in the design process. Just call the panel and you have access to all the contents that are stored in different solutions. And it's the easiest way to have one access to all the systems that works in more than 20 applications. As Andreas said before, this is in the whole Adobe Creative Cloud environment, Office 365, Google Workspace, and so on and so on. And of course, we have more than 60 systems that are currently connected. So this is just a short selection, what you see here of what's doable. Just to do a short recap, so making complex things simple, this is our goal with the CI Hub connector, and it's doable with this single panel interface in your favorite application. So connecting to multiple systems in parallel, so just easy to switch between them and have access to that content. With some really cool features, you see always your selected source. You have the option to relink files if they are outdated. You have visual control. Where is my asset located? Where is the source of my asset? You can always see if my asset is local available. With locally available, I mean it's available, for example, if I'm talking about WordPress, in the media library. And you can see the warning symbols. So that means check before publishing. There might be a newer version, or the asset is completely missing. You can check for status, because maybe you use a rendition and the file name is different, but the ID of the image is the same. No logo in front of the file name means this asset is only locally stored. That means there is no connection to a DAM or cloud storage system. This is just locally available. And with this little add icon, you can upload the selected asset to your selected source system. So there's no need to download it from WordPress, store it locally, take it and do an upload into your DAM or cloud storage system. This can all be done within this simple interface. So what are your benefits at the end? One interface to check assets from multiple source systems. If it's Figma, Sketch, or WordPress, or any other application, it works in all of the applications in the same way. You can check if the assets are available, always in context to your selected source system. You have a full version control. There is no window hopping for switching between applications, going back and forth. You have bulk operations features. That means if you want to upload all those assets that are currently not stored in Box, that's just one click and it will upload 6 files in the backend. No need to do that. Just select the folder where they should jump in, and it's done automatically. So you can bulk operations, do the relink feature. You can relink multiple files with just one click, and you can check the whole asset library, maybe in WordPress, the whole media library, or just what's in a post, or just what's in a page. So it depends on what you select. So bulk operations, really cool to do a massive upload stuff without any further doings. You have a full version control, including a detail view, also in every application. They have a timestamp, they have a link to the original file, so you never use outdated versions. You can relink the latest version within your app. You have visual control, and also timestamps are included that you can see when was the version created. And you have always a deep link to the location where the asset has been placed, if it's a page or a post or whatever. At the end, the little yellow icon is always for information to keep you updated on what's happening behind these assets. So in this case, there is a rendition selected, and you just have to ensure or be sure that the rendition is useful here. If it's a JPEG or a PNG, but when the original file was an AI file, yeah, you can switch again between them and say, okay, I need a PNG, which works with transparency, or a JPEG is okay for me if you don't need transparencies, and so on. And you can always see if an asset has been placed more than once. You see every place where it has been located with a deep link. Just click on it and you'll find it in your project. If you have any questions, or if you want to see how the single applications are working, just visit the Academy, cihub.com/academy. There are a whole lot of stuff included, just Figma and Sketch in detail also, and of course WordPress. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, we would love to answer them.
Gerd, thanks a lot for that comprehensive demo. Thanks, that was really good. Let me just jump into a couple of these questions. So does it connect to Adobe stock based on a login that you know that have rights to use based on your subscription when you search? So you log into the stock provider system as like in all the other systems, and the CI app connector fully respects the rights of that connected system. If you connect to a stock system, then with your login, we know what kind of plan you are associated. And we do know which images you have already purchased or which images has been purchased within your organization. All of these assets that are already purchased get a small green dot. So if you imagine you're in Getty and you are searching for cars, then you will immediately see all of the images which have not been purchased. You can then purchase them based on your plan. And you will also see all car images that are already purchased based on different plans. And so you have the full transparency, and organizations would not purchase assets twice or triple, because you have that knowledge based on the information of the integration. So I know this presentation for Sketch and Figma, but can we expect the CI app connector window to look the same in Adobe InDesign? I'm not really sure what you mean with that. The CI app connector looks in all of the applications in the way it is planned from the vendors. So the plugin looks a little bit different in the Microsoft products than it looks in the Adobe products, but this is based on the requirements from, in that case, Adobe or Microsoft. So they look the way they do in the moment. If you like to send me an email and explain it a little bit more in detail what you would like to see, or if someone from you has good ideas on how we can improve, send me an email and we're happy to respect that. If someone updates in Figma directly, will the file save back to the DAM system? I think this is what Gerd just showed. Yes, it will.
Yeah.
So if you have a local asset that you're only imported in Figma, and then you sync with your box system or with your widen system, then the system will check and will upload the missing image into that system. So that will definitely also happen. Then there is another question. Does CI Hub accommodate the ability to update the DAM with any new asset that are added directly from Getty to WordPress without the asset going to the DAM first? Yes. You can just check your website against Getty or against Adobe stock, and all of the capabilities Gerd just showed are available regardless if it's a DAM system or if it's a stock system. Technically, a stock system is a DAM system, so you have all of these capabilities. Yeah. And then how easy it is to test CI Hub. This is extremely easy. Everybody can test all of the plugins for 4 weeks. You can just go to the Adobe, the Microsoft, or other stores, search for CI Hub, and install it within your product. And then if you have registered your, we call it the CI Hub ID, then you can test the plugin for 4 weeks without any kind of limitation. So it's a full version and you have the full capabilities. Just try it against your Box or Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever you have. So it's very easy. There is another question. Will metadata be applied in DAM when updates from CI App connector with new assets via connector to WordPress? Yes, it does it via the, what was the name? The short code. So you can so you can use the short codes to do these updates. Very powerful. Yeah. Okay, here I have another question. How is it with security? CIAP is completely secure, so we go through all of the security assessments and DSGVO and other tests. As the CIAP connector never sees an asset and is only linking between the user's wish to see an asset and the data storage that has the asset, we are completely in line with all the security requirements, even for governmental or military use. So you don't need to worry on anything on this one. And you can we can decide if there is the backend in a European or in a North American location. Okay. If you have more questions, I would be happy to take them. If not, I would say it was a pleasure. Thank you for organizing that, Jeanette. Thank you, Gerd, for giving that nice comprehensive presentation.
You're welcome.
And because we do have nice weather, everybody gets 10 minutes to open the window and enjoy it. I would say thank you. Gerd, thanks. Jeanette,
Thank you very much.
And
excellent. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Bye-bye.
And we hope to see you all to the next webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.